Testing your speakers on StreamYard. Sounds like they're working. Have a great show. Testing your speakers on StreamYard. Sounds like they're working. Have a great show.
This song is brought to you by Kelsey and Presley and StreamYard support. Have a great show.
Testing. Oh, that looks a little bit better. Okay, maybe we've got some action here on the audio. All right, very good. I think we just need to get rolling here. If you heard the music, then you know that things are working. So welcome to the Deborah Peters Show. This is a show about living your life on the leading edge of thought. I have been pondering this topic for a very long time. And as many of you know, following my YouTube channel, there's a lot of videos there. Thank you, Chris. Success. We have audio on this subject, but I feel like it's time to really take it to the next level. And I'm going to share with you what that means to me here in a second. And what the topics are that we're going to cover and how the format is going to go. But before I do that, I want to just kind of preface it by saying that we are all living in some really precarious times. Let's call it that. I don't want to put any judgment on it, but we're all living in this precarious time of change across the globe. And I wonder just how many of you are thinking to yourself, like, what am I doing here? Like, why am I a part of what's going on in this world? And, you know, it's a very interesting conversation to have, because on some level, you know, I guess we all agreed to be here and to be a part of this. So I would like to provide information and have guests come on in the various topics, the 5 areas of life that we're going to talk about, and provide tools and perspective and information and actual change processes of that you can, you know, sink your teeth into in the moment that will make your life better and make your experiences more rich and more fulfilling and more rewarding. Because we're here and it's happening, you know, we're somewhere on the tail end of a pandemic, and all sorts of things happening politically in the world. There's just so much going on that that it's a bit of a hotbed, you know. So if I cross anybody's lines of belief systems, hey, you know, we all have belief systems, right or wrong, good or bad, not going there. It's whatever you want it to be. And we'll get into that too. So I have to tell you before we actually get started that I am in a snowy rural area of Idaho. And I was actually in Montana. I'm going back to Montana. Everything was all lined up. I was all good to go this morning with the show. And the town literally went dark. So there's absolutely no Wi-Fi and zero cell phone service. Like nothing is working. Hopefully it is by the time I get back. So I just packed everything up in the car because I had clients this morning too. It wasn't just, you know, the podcast. I have a very full day of work. So I just loaded everything into my vehicle and I started driving. And I asked my instinct, which direction should I drive till I can get some cell phone coverage, call a couple of my clients. I had text messages prepped on my phone, ready to go. So the minute we hit Wi-Fi or cell service, I should say, those text messages would go out to let people know why I was running behind schedule. Well, I managed to do 2 coaching sessions on the drive here, and because cell phone service picked up. And then I drove to the nearest, biggest small town where I could find a library to actually fulfill this commitment today, because it's been everywhere across social media for weeks, and I wanted to be able to follow through on this and make sure we got this thing launched today. So here I am. I'm sitting in the community room in a public library that actually has toys in it, and the kids want access to the toys. And so that's, if you see me turning my head and talking to someone, it's probably some, you know, little child wondering why you can't come into this room and get the toys and play with them. It was basically the only spot that I could find. So thank you so much for being here today and just tolerating the moving target of getting the show off the ground in a place where I don't have any control over sound or movement or video. But hey, listen, we will make this work. We are thrivers. So we don't let anything hold us back from actually being that thriver. And I found myself a spot in front of the window. So I think the lighting is good. And hopefully the audio is good and the Wi-Fi connection seems to be really stable. So yeah, I think everything worked out beautifully. And maybe that's just a great segue into the why behind this podcast and why I chose the subjects that I chose for this. And those subjects are health, wealth, business, relationships, and self-expression. I feel that when you can connect into those different areas of your life and you can start to get those dialed down, your self-awareness blossoms, it increases, you become more attuned to what makes you tick and how to get things off the ground, no matter what is happening around you. And that's really the key, is what's it going to take for you to have the life that you want to have? And that's the point of this podcast, of living your life on the leading edge of thought. And we're going to explore some perhaps very controversial topics. You know, maybe I'm going to espouse some belief systems that grade up against yours and you don't agree with. And that's okay. I'm not here to please anybody. I'm not here to placate anybody. If there's something about the topics and the content that I'm covering, you're welcome not to watch. I'm okay with that. And if what I have to offer enriches your life, then I am grateful and I am appreciative of that. And for those that maybe don't agree, maybe hang in here a little while, and there'll be something that you can take away from it that will make your life more fulfilled and enable you to be more happy. Isn't that really the key? It's about being happy. So thank you, Kimberly, for those words of encouragement. Yeah, it's I grew up on a farm, and when you grow up on a farm and you have to deal with whatever comes at you, you just learn to figure it out. You don't just throw your hands in the air and say, I can't do this because something's not perfect or something's not working. You figure it out. So I had to drive 80 miles. Hey, I managed to knock out 2 coaching sessions on the way here. My clients are happy. I started on time. What more could a girl ask for, right? So getting into these different topics, and I have to tell you that, like, right above my camera, I have the most beautiful view of this incredible sky and these big old snowflakes coming down, and I've got pristine white snow in front of me, and I just love it. I just love Mother Nature and everything that she brings to the table and how it really fuels my spirit. But I digress. So the topics. So I'm really passionate about these 5 different areas of our lives because they're the areas that I have dug into in my personal growth and in my journey through life that have enabled me to thrive and be free and love myself, to heal myself, to heal my body, to heal my emotional body, to heal my thought patterns, to heal my finances, to find love and to be love and to be loving, regardless of how much trauma or shock or pain or lack, scarcity, abandonment that I've ever experienced in my life, to be able to come through that to the other side and to be happy and to enjoy every moment, whether I have all the material possessions that I aspire to have or not. It's just to be in this place of joy and ease and peace, regardless what's going on around me. And this is something that I'm sharing with all of you because if there was ever a time in history when you can be, do, and have anything you would like to be, do, and have, this is it. Which is the reason I launched this podcast on this most auspicious day, February 22nd, 2022. This day, a very momentous portal has opened. And that portal is an energy like we have never experienced on this planet before, at least in my lifetime. So this portal, pardon me, brings an energy to our lives that supports and elevates and speeds up our ability to create whatever it is that we want to create. Excuse me, I'm going to take a drink of water because my throat's tickling. Now, one could look around the world and really question what I just said and feel like we're living in a place of defeatism, that we are in a place of strife and pain and suffering and fear and doubt and loss and restriction. And certainly that does exist. I'm not going to sit here and say that those energies do not exist. The question is for you to ask yourself, where are you putting your focus? Are you putting your focus on the pain and suffering and restriction and fear? Or are you putting your focus on how blessed you are and how powerful you are and how creative you are and what you have energetically at your fingertips? It's just one thought away, really. You know, when I talk about energy, it's just a thought away. You can flip from being impoverished to being abundant and prosperous with just a thought. Now, for all the naysayers that would argue that point and say, well, that doesn't change your bank account. Perhaps not in the nanosecond. I don't know. Maybe it could. Maybe it could. Maybe that flip of a thought is when you buy the lottery ticket. You know, anything is possible. So I want to take time, even though we're talking about February 22nd, 2022, I want to take time off the table for just a second, because if you get caught up in the time construct, it's futile. You're always going to feel like things aren't clicking for you. You're always going to feel like, when's it going to happen? So I want to get past that. Instead, I'd like you to entertain space. Entertain the space of something, the space of the energy. So here we are, February 22nd, the second month, the 22nd day of 2022. And we're sitting in this portal, this energetic portal that is wide open for us to tap into and to bring to us our grandest manifestations. The question is for you, are you moving towards that, whatever that is for you? So we could kind of unpack this and say, all right, like for example, today, it's the launch of my podcast. I have clients scheduled back to back. I have no Wi-Fi service and no cell phone service. I didn't collapse. I didn't feel defeated. I moved toward, and literally packed up my vehicle and started driving and moved toward the energy of cell phone service, of Wi-Fi. And that is a fantastic metaphor for life. Fantastic metaphor for life. What you are seeking is seeking you. All you have to do is start moving toward it. Just move toward it and step into the space of possibility. What else is possible? Are you allowing yourself to entertain the possibilities? So we are covering health, because I feel very strongly that if you don't have your health, you have nothing. If you can't move around freely, whether that's internally in your mind or physically, mental health, emotional health, physical health, if you can't move freely, then you can't actually engage in life the way you would like to, or the way you're designed to, where you're maximizing the moments, the energy of the time, space, and matter to create the reality you want to create. And we are creators. So the entire time I was driving looking for Wi-Fi, I was talking to one of my clients, and we had this very conversation about creating, because one of the topics we're going to cover in this podcast is wealth and business and relationships and self-expression. And all of those topics are about creating. You are a creator. What you are seeking is seeking you. The energy of whatever it is that's going on in your mind is an open possibility. It has no boundaries. It has no borders. It has no limits other than the ones that you give it. And so, in order for you, me, all of us, to maximize these different areas of our existence, of our lives, is to become more self-aware. What are we consuming? You know, consumerism, I haven't been looking at the statistics since the pandemic, but if we look at the statistics pre-pandemic, we would measure it by Black Friday sales or Christmas sales, retail sales. Like, what is the level of consumerism? Hold on. Can you shut that, please? I'm on a podcast. Thank you. We have these enormous levels of consumerism where we're buying up stuff. And I'm not suggesting you shouldn't have nice things. I'd like to invite you to question if what you're buying is something that you really need to make your life work, or is it an impulse buy, or is it retail therapy, or is it filling a void? What is the point to that? So the health of our consumerism comes from the thoughts we think, the emotions that we allow ourselves to get anchored in, to let run our mindset, let run the energy of our bodies. It's the food you eat, it's the water you drink, it's what you watch on social media, it's do you watch mainstream television, do you gossip, do you sit around with people and commiserate? That's consuming, that's consumerism, that's you taking in energy that is expressed through conversation, through material possessions, through what you listen to, what you watch, what you say to yourself. All of this adds up and it becomes us, and we become it. We become our environment and our environments become us. And so the beauty of that, it's a double-edged sword. The beauty of that is we can look at our lives and we can see by the state of our lives what our focus is, what our consuming is. We can look at the state of our relationships and we can tell what the state of our relationship with ourself is, our higher self, our creator self. And all of these things add up and they make a difference in how we respond to life, how we receive. If we receive, sometimes a lot of people have blocks around receiving. And it determines the quality of our existence on this planet. Now, I'm all about freedom. I think that if anyone was to ask me what my number one value is, I would say that it's freedom. Freedom, happiness, joy, to me, they're just like, they're right at the top. And so I've had to teach myself to accept and to learn and to foster my capacity for giving to myself, giving myself experiences that create happiness, that create joy, that create a feeling of prosperity and abundance. And there's a process to that, depending on what you were programmed to accept and to believe. As I went through that journey, it was a bit of a war zone inside my mind. because everything that I had been taught was the opposite. I grew up in an environment where you just sacrifice yourself for others, and you put yourself last, and you were taught not to expect too much and not to be too verbose or robust. I like that word. I like being robust. And we have these experiences then in life after the fact, like after the programming is done, we have these experiences in life that then reflect back to us what those programs are. And it feels like we're a victim, but we're not. So this show, Living Life on the Leading Edge of Thought, is designed for you to cultivate a sense of robustness. First of all, I would say like resiliency and anticipation and enthusiasm for life and how you would like to create your life, whether it's your intimate relationships, your friendships, your relationship you have with your business, your team, your clients, and to just really take that to a whole other level. Your body, loving your body and watching the cells heal, learning to talk to yourself in new ways that are empowering and generous and loving. So the way I've laid this out is we're going to do one topic per week. And I'm going to have guests come in that are experts in their field and really share with us some high level tools that you can immediately start to apply in your life. And you can begin to feel different. So am I looking at, okay, there has to be a tangible answer or result that's presenting itself? No, it's about how you feel. So the first step is to really allow yourself to begin to feel good for no reason. Not because you've bought something. Sorry. Can you shut the door, please? Thank you. Not because you've bought something or you know someone that's important or your bank account hits a certain number, but really because you feel good. This is the first step. All of these programs that you're buying or books you're reading are about the visualization process, and it's really not. It's about the feeling. And when you allow, you don't even have to try. When you allow yourself to feel good for no particular reason, just for being you, then that is really the key. Because from that place, then you start to attract and draw to you people, circumstances, experiences, life, feeling reasons to feel good, more reasons to feel good come. And yes, Kimberly, what you are seeking is seeking you all day long. So I'm going to play off of the conversation that I had with one of my clients on the way out here, because we talked about this very thing. And he's a very, very, very successful man, multimillionaire. You look at his life and it looks super amazing. Beautiful family, beautiful home, rich environment, handsome guy, smart, great communicator, global traveler. Like, you would look at the package and you would say, this guy has it all. But there was a missing piece. And that missing piece was about feeling good. And then, so you might say, well, how can you have all of that if he doesn't feel good about himself? And, it's like, it's easy, frankly. You don't have to have like this perfect, you don't have to be this perfect person to have success in life. There can be aspects of your life that are out of alignment, and there can be aspects of your life that are in alignment that are doing really well. So I had to get out of that thinking too, that absolute thinking, black and white thinking, there's so much gray area that you can't even measure it all. So what we're talking about is this choice of feeling good regardless of circumstances, and then being able to identify, so if I'm feeling bad, whose energy is that? And we found out that it wasn't even his energy, but he was perpetuating it by focusing on it. So I've had a lot of experience with doing activities, sports activities, outdoor activities, that kind of thing. And I had this experience at Christmas. I was at a friend's house. Actually, it was New Year's or Christmas. It was during the holidays. And somebody got a hoverboard as a gift. So they cleared out all the furniture in the living room and moved everything off to the side. So we're all taking turns on this hoverboard, which was crazy because they're so unstable. And it's about, getting your equilibrium. So I got on this hoverboard and I figured out my balance, right? And I realized that wherever I focused, wherever I looked in the room, zoop, that's where the hoverboard took me. So if I looked at somebody, the hoverboard headed straight for them. If I looked at the wall, I crashed into the wall. If I looked at the sofa off in the, far corner, zoop, I'm gone toward the sofa. It's the same thing. I've been out snowmobiling all last week in Montana. And, you get out on the trails, and if you focus on the trees, because there's some tight corners, and if you're doing 40, 50 miles an hour and you start to come into these corners, you have to make sure you're looking precisely where you want that sled to go. Because if you look at the trees, you look at the cliff, boom, there you go. So it was really about that. Can you shut the door, please, honey? Can you shut the door, please? Shut the door. I have a visitor. He wants the toys. Thank you. And so that's just like a really great metaphor for life, in that where you put your focus is the answer to everything. And so I would catch him, helping him in reframing his language patterns, because he would say to me, okay, I see my pattern, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to change my pattern and I'm going to stop doing the negative. And I would say, whoa, let's back up, because you don't want to have to try to change anything, especially something that's negative, because all that does is shines a huge light on the thing and it makes it bigger. So instead, what we want to do is we want to create. We want to create with new focus. We want to create with new attention. We want to create with new inspiration and new enthusiasm. And that might take 100, 200, 500, a million choices a day to keep choosing that creation point, but you can do it. The reason you can do it is because you are a creator, and whatever your belief system is, I'm going to use like the universe, I'm going to use God. If you don't like that, you use your own word. It's totally up to you. As you're co-creating with God, God being the life force, that spark in your heart that moves you, that grows you, that guides you, that protects you, that plants ideas and seeds in your mind for you to go after. You're co-creating with that energy. And so you're the portal, you're the physical portal that can pick up the phone, that can send an email, that can sit down in a meeting. And it's so important for you to honor that. You see, I think rather than doubt it, if what you're seeking is seeking you, and you can find a spark of trust in that, a good exercise for that would be to just write that down over and over and over. Just sit with a pad of paper for a half an hour and just write it out as many times as the page can handle. Get into the groove of thinking like that. What you are seeking is seeking you. You're the portal. Today, February 22nd, 2022, 2/22, 2022 is a portal. You are a portal. Nothing can come into this world without moving through you as a portal. The grandest ideas can't come into being without moving through a human in order to be realized, in order to be actualized. Someone has to be able to make the call, build the widget, design the house, build the car. There's a whole like tremendous force of engagement that is taking place that could not take place without you being the portal. So the reason I'm doing this show is because I want you to get that deep down in your spirit that you are the portal. Once you realize that you're the portal, you'll have less propensity toward doubting, because nothing cuts you off faster and more effectively from everything that you want in life than to doubt. It's the doubt that cuts you off energetically from the things you want. It just doesn't make sense to me. I mean, I do it too. And I catch myself all the time now. You know, back in the day, I didn't catch myself at all. And as a result of it, I had a horrible life. You know, at least I thought it was, because I wasn't able to move forward and get the traction in my life that I wanted to get. So it's just talk to yourself. I think that's the key here. And invite in God, invite in spirit, invite in the universe. You know, wake up in the morning and say, thank you, God, for this beautiful day. Whose life can I bless in the process of my day just by being me? And let the rest that can't handle you fall off, because people will fall out of range when you start functioning in that place of energy. When you step into your true power, and your true power is simply an acknowledgement that you are a co-creator, that you are a portal. That's your true power, that you're not alone. You're not out here, you know, hanging off the cliff by your toenails, that you're actually living your life on the leading edge of thought, and that you're supported in that because you're a co-creator with God. So of course you're supported in that. Aligning with that awareness is the key. And sometimes you're going to have to tell yourself that a million times a day. But here's the deal. It's the innocence. It's the innocence that comes with that. The unmeasurable, unquantifiable, intangible innocence that comes with faith and trust in life, the process of life. I just had this experience recently where I was with some friends and we were doing activities together, and I just was in such awe and wonder at the experience itself and the simplicity of the experience. And I would say out loud, you know, wow, we're in a slice of heaven right now. I mean, Mother Nature, the beauty, the gift of life, that here we are in the fresh air, and you know, we're just looking at the pristine whiteness of the snow and finding appreciation in that, the simplicity, the innocence. And I think it grated people the wrong way, where they're just like rolling their eyes at me going, oh God, here she goes again. And I just couldn't help myself. I was just in so much appreciation of the experience that I was having. And it wasn't, you know, it wasn't anything that I was manufacturing. It was just it was such a impactful feeling inside of me that I just had to keep expressing my wonder, my sheer wonder. And if you can do that, you know, as adults, we get a little jaded sometimes, a little cynical, you know, life kicks our asses a bit, and then we feel like victims and it's hard, and then we perpetuate that and we think about that more, and then we give that more energy and we focus on it, and then that bleeds into other areas of our lives, and pretty soon it's like we actually believe the negativity in the world. Hold on. We actually start to believe that life is hard and a struggle, and then it's all over. Then it's all over. We feel like it's all over. So if you can find a way to go into your heart and find that child, find that little kid that really loved being a kid, you know, that really, actually I don't have a cold, it's just a dry throat because I'm in a dry climate. It's so dry here. My hair is like flies away on its own. You can find that innocence within you, no matter what's going on around you, no matter what other people think or say or how they dislike you because you're happy and you find that life is easy. Just be like a dog. Have you ever been around a dog and they bump into something and they just like kind of shake it off? And then it's like, whatever, carry on. Here's my innocence again. I'm wagging my tail and I love you. You know, that's priceless. That is priceless. And when you find that, people will fall out of range. The jaded people that are willing to sell their souls to look a certain way, their lives to look a certain way, so they can impress others, because it's just all a facade. When you find that innocence in yourself, those people will fall out of range. And you have to be willing to go it alone long enough for you to solidify that energy and let the people that recognize you and they recognize that vibration in you, that love, that innocence, that joy, that fulfillment, just for being you and not measuring something about their lives to fit into the status quo or the social norms. You're sovereign. Then you've set yourself free, and you then are living your life on the leading edge of thought. And from there, anything is possible. Anything is possible. So thank you for being here. I want to keep these to 45 minutes. So my next show, we're going to dig into the health topic. I've launched a health coaching platform and have a team of master health coaches that are certified. And we're going to start bringing in some really powerful tools that we're going to give you free of charge, just so you can up level. Because we'll get your health on track, we'll get your wealth on track, get your love on track. Everything will pop into place for you. And then on the third episode, I have Dr. Stephen Tenenbaum joining me. He's a hormone specialist. He's written a book on how the thyroid functions. He has a thriving medical practice in Newbury Park, California. I've known him for at least a decade. He's a brilliant physician. And we're going to start to unpack how hormones affect the brain, affect your thoughts, affect your body, your weight, your energy, your ability to achieve in life. So I've got a whole host of guests lined up for you, and I look forward to having you back. Thank you for being here. And I really appreciate your time. And I'll see you next time on the Deborah Peters Show, living life on the leading edge of thought. Take care of yourself. Love you. Bye.